Ah, there we are. Okay. What is good, YouTube? What is good, gamers? It is your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you with another live stream. Remember to hit the like button, help spread my content to a wider audience. I would appreciate it. Already got a like. Thank you. Make sure you hit the bell icon to stay notified whenever I put out new content. I would appreciate that as well. If you are a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. I hope you are enjoying the content. And so, before we get into the topic of today, I just wanted to make a couple of announcements. The first one being that I have gotten, what's up, Ryan? What's going on, brother? The first one being that I have gotten confirmation from Porter Rock. So the Saturday edition of the Lincoln Show is a go. Saturday at 1 p.m. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be a good one, you know, and I'm definitely going to try to put my best foot forward in terms of what kind of questions I have for them. Skip Bayless, Crab Gamer said the next Xbox console will be 4K everything. Yeah, you know, I would be very happy if that dude would shut up. Jamal, what's going on, brother? Um, the other announcement that I have to make is tomorrow, Jay Wags is scheduled to be my guest on the Lincoln Show tomorrow at 6:30. And the big topic of the Lincoln Show was going to be inside Xbox. I think there was a little mix up in the dates. I think he originally thought that the edition of Inside Xbox was going to air this evening, and therefore we were going to do the Lincoln Show tomorrow and talk about the Inside Xbox. But after I Googled it to make sure, it turns out that Inside Xbox will air tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. at the same time that we were supposed to do the Lincoln Show. Oh, damn it. You know what? Oh, shit. Let me, I promised Coon I would have my shit ready. Have some pictures to show you. Um, Let me go into my external hard drive and see if I got something in there to show you, because I totally forgot about that because I just got home from work and I went straight to the computer. I haven't done anything else. I'm still in my work clothes. And so anyway, while I'm waiting for this external hard drive to boot up, uh, I did want to say that I sent a message to Jay Wags and I asked him if he wanted to push the Lincoln Show back to Friday, uh, so we can, watch Inside Xbox and gather up our notes or questions and stuff like that from there. So I'm just waiting to hear back from him. But if you happen to see this podcast, Jay Wags, just wanted to let you know that the Inside Xbox is supposed to run tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. at the same time that we were supposed to do the Lincoln Show. So if we were to do the Lincoln Show, that would basically have us, bumping heads with Inside Xbox. So I left you a message at Twitter to see if you wanted to push that back to Friday. We could probably do it at the same time, Friday at 6:30 p.m. If not, I should be out of work tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. so I can work around that. So let me know as soon as you can. Let me see. Let's see. Okay. So let me go into my for Coon, let me go into my external hard drive and see if I can find some old pictures of me when I was a wee lad. Dun, 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 dun. Give me a minute, people, because we definitely gonna get on this shit. We definitely gonna get on this shit about the topic, because I think I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft is getting ready to pull the wool over everybody's eyes again. Because dastardly ain't the word for them dudes. Here, let me try this again. I'm having a problem finding this shit. Mm, all right. Oh shit, there it was right there. Um, let me see here. Desktop downloads. Come on. Images, OneDrive, this PC. Um, damn it. This is crazy. 3D objects, desktop, pictures, music downloads, network. All right. We'll try that again. OneDrive. Second, people, because I'm definitely a man of my word, but see, I hate when they reformat shit because I cannot find um I cannot find my extended hard drive on this computer, which is crazy. It's and rather embarrassing. So anyway, I'll keep looking. But anyway, let's talk about this title. How I said, don't be surprised if Microsoft shows indies as AAAs at at E3. Why do I say that? Because that's exactly what they did last year. You stop and think about that for a minute. They unveiled the Xbox One X last year. Then they showed you Forza, leading everybody to believe that they were going to come out with a whole shitload of exclusives that were going to look like uh, Forza. They showed you Metro. They showed you Anthem, which were third-party games. And then I think after that, everything they showed was all indie games. And then when you stop and think about it, going back to last year, every exclusive that Microsoft has released since last fall has been an indie game, with the exception of Forza. Cuphead was an indie game. Super Lucky's Tale was an indie game that they try to, what's up, Scott Savage? What's going on? Super Lucky's Tale was a indie game that they try to throw a little bit of hype on it. PUBG's an indie game, even though it's not an exclusive, even though they try to act like it was an exclusive, but that's still an indie game as well. Yeah, I agree. The one named Shadow, Super Lucky's Tale, which I think fits more on the Switch. I agree 100%. Uh, so and then as far as I'm concerned, now without a doubt in my mind, Sea of Thieves was they gave it the AAA hype. God knows, I'm wondering, God knows how much money Microsoft spent hyping that game up, and probably paying off people to give positive reviews on that game. I can't imagine how much money they must have spent to hype up that garbage ass game. I do believe, like State of Decay is an indie game. State of Decay 2, it looks indie to me. It looks like some old, looks like some early PS3 graphics, late PS2 graphics. Myself, that is an indie game. I really believe that Microsoft wanted to give that game the AAA hype, but I think because of the performance issues as well as those lackluster graphics, I think there was no way Microsoft could have tried to pass that off as a AAA game. What's up, Savage? Kuhn, I'm tending to agree with you. You have a feeling there's going to be a lot of spot of cartoonish games for that 4K narrative. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Now, even though Microsoft ran their mouths about Metro, which I think got delayed, and Anthem, those are third party games. No, 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 no. I'll explain that in a minute, Spartan God. I mean triple A's. But this that quadruple A ties into it though. It ties into my theory. So hold on a second. So as I was saying, I think they wanted to give State of Decay the AAA treatment, but I think the game don't look good and the game don't run that good. So they couldn't try to pass it off as a AAA game. But believe me, I think they really wanted to try it. Okay, all right. But still, I'll still explain where I'm coming from though. Why I also believe that they're going to try to pass off indies is AAA games. So now that they made up this quadruple A shit, which I don't understand, now that they supposedly opened up a quadruple A studio, whatever the hell that's supposed to be, um, you know, and even if it is legitimate triple A shit, I mean quadruple A shit that they talking about, it's not gonna be for the next generation anyway. I mean, because the Xbox One X can barely handle on triple A games, so you know damn well it wouldn't be able to handle a so-called quadruple A game. So, with that being said, I think what could possibly happen. Uh, okay, I just got a message from Jay Wags that it looks like we're going to go ahead and push the Lincoln show back to 6:30 Friday. So so you ain't gonna want to miss that too. So it looks like we're gonna have back-to-back episodes of the Lincoln show. So we're gonna have Jay Wags on Friday, and we're gonna have Porter Rock on Saturday. So you won't want to miss either of those. And you know, and um, I already made it clear to Jay Wags, be yourself. So if we come across a question that pisses him off, don't hesitate to scream and yell. Don't hesitate to rant. I wouldn't have it any other way. So now Ryan, now here's what I was going to say. Microsoft tried it with Sea of Thieves. They passed the indie game off as a AAA game. So what I think what could possibly happen this year at E3. And don't forget, they showed a ton of indie games last year, and we only got a handful of them right now because it seems like they showed like 30 indie games, exclusive, console exclusive, all that bullshit. And they tried to act like all these games was like AAA games and all these games was reasons to buy the Xbox One X. So what I think is going to happen, what I think could possibly happen this year is I think they might do it again. I think they might show a bunch of indie games and try to pass them off as AAA, and then the AAA games that they do have that they'll probably show, like maybe the Gears 5 and new Halo and whatever Forza is going to come out. I think they're going to try to call those games quadruple A. So, it's going I think they definitely going to move some shit around and use a bunch of buzzwords and shit like that to act like they're putting on some huge extravaganza for E3, which I think myself, I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be the same shit. What's up, Silver Sky 545? What is up, Spank plus grab with the slight lift? Silver is here. So, with that being said, and then the other thing though that cracks me up is because Sony already showed their hand for E3, they're already assuming that the Sony's E3 is going to be a dud. So they're acting like all Microsoft has to do is show up and they win. Will Microsoft really win if they show an E3 full of shit like Super Lucky's Tale again? So Microsoft got to do more to show up. To me, they got to bring the fucking roof down. They got to have a drop the mic and walk off the stage moment for me. So, with that being said, until they show me they can fly, I'm assuming they're going to be stuck on the ground with a quick release to see it bounce back to previous position. All right. So, and I also saw a article that said Sony dropped the ball on M4G, and I'm tempted to share my screen and go and read it. Hmm. And I see a tweet from Porter Rock. It says breaking news: the Senate just voted to keep net neutrality rules. A huge victory for protecting the free and open internet. Cool. So, what do I got for messages? Yep. Okay. Exactly. Exactly. Impatient fire. There's no doubt in my mind they're gonna um Cuphead Part Two, some more Super Lucky's Tale DLC, and and have all kinds of fireworks and shit like that in the background, and probably do that shit like they did with Forza and have a Porsche up on stage and shit like that with Super Lucky jumping out of the car. Some stupid shit. Hey, impatient fire, you absolutely right. I think the media is biased against Sony, and I don't think they biased against Sony because they dislike Sony. I think they might be biased against the media because Microsoft is paying off some of them, or Microsoft has good relationships with some of them. I don't get how a company this pushing a service like Game Pass that's full of 360 games and lackluster exclusives. um I don't, and struggling sales. What's going on, Daniel? I You might be joking, but I think the media, at least the media here in the United States. What's up? Don't call me Danny. What's going on? I think the media in the United States favors Microsoft. There is a serious, there is a serious imbalance. Microsoft's sitting on about 32 million consoles. Sony's sitting on 80. Sony's got a ton of exclusives. Microsoft, is barely scratching the surface with exclusives, and the shit they do have is absolute atrocious. They look like shit. They run like shit. Um, they got more fucking controllers than games, but yet every time I go to N4G, I see just as many articles praising the Xbox as I do, slamming Sony. J Wags, I'm glad you just popped in here. You know, you want let's shoot for the same time on Friday, 6:30 p.m. Let me know if that works for you on Friday for the Lincoln show. Because I definitely want to make sure that you and I have watched Inside Xbox before I come at you with the questions. And so, while I'm on the subject of Inside Xbox, I want to let everybody know that if Inside Xbox is absolute trash tomorrow, I will not hesitate to throw gut punches at Microsoft. So if you think you might not be able to handle it, you probably better walk your little baby nuts over to a channel where they sold your information. Because that seems to be oh shit, I'd love to see the Xbox brag about that. Oh, Microsoft's selling your information now because they're not anti-consumer like Sony. Motherfuckers. Oh my god. This I don't know, Jay. You the only one that wants Left for Dead. I the Coon, I would love to here's the problem. Here's two problems with live streaming Xbox Inside Xbox. Number one is I don't know how to use the OBS software where I can broadcast it and then show, show a a picture in picture of me, with a live reaction. That's one problem. The other problem is I'm telling you right now, if this episode of Xbox X is just like the last one, I will be shutting that shit off after 20 minutes because I couldn't take it. What's up, Playbox? So, believe me, if that inside Xbox ends up being garbage, um, like I said, I'll shut that shit off after 20 minutes. And believe me, I will be able to pull 15 or 20 questions for Jay Wags for the Lincoln Show. And so, what's up, Eric? So again, if inside Xbox ends up being trash, expect me to hit Jay Wags with some questions that's probably gonna blow him up. Silver Sky, I'll be the first one to tell you that my knees are a little rickety. So no, I don't really hit legs that much. Um, and so you would see it if I wore shorts. I have a good size upper body and I got some bird legs. I'm about five right now. I'm about 5'9", 205 pounds. I'm just coming off of a diet. I lost about 10 pounds because I tried to shrink the waist a little bit. I was at one point, I was 225 pounds, but I will not get that big again. Also keep in mind, Silver Sky, I'm 51 years old. My days of squatting are over. I'll still work my legs, but I'm not squatting anymore. I'm not gonna have 300 pounds on my shoulders and try to drop and try to pick that shit up again. So, I'll do leg extensions and shit like that. But as far as that goes, that's one of the reasons why I'm on early, because I haven't been to the gym in about 3 weeks because I fucked my shoulder up about 2 months ago. And I actually think I did it playing uh knockout league, to tell you the truth. I think I was throwing, there was no need for me to throw all these wild ass haymakers. And I think I might have pulled or tore something in my shoulder. And it's been fucking with me for the last couple of months. And I'm just now getting to the point where I'm getting to the point where I got to get back into the gym. I don't like being out of the gym this long. I've been out for about 3 weeks. Um, it's okay. It's okay, Silver Sky. I'll never have a problem talking about going to the gym because, truth be told, the gym is my first love, and YouTube, and gaming is my second love. And so, uh, I'm a gym rat, and if you're a gym rat too, then you know how it feels to be out of the gym for 3 weeks. You know how that shit makes you antsy and stuff like that. And God knows I'm scared to go in there and find out how much strength I lost. Um, especially with my shoulder feeling funky. I said it before. Daniel, I said before, I'm 51 years old. I started lifting late. I started lifting when I was about 26. And I probably say the first 7 years I worked out off and on. And see, I was one of those dudes when I first started lifting, I was about 130 pounds. So I was one of those dudes that, after 2 months of working out, I think that I'm just supposed to wake up at 200 pounds. It don't work like that. Um, exactly. Exactly, Jay Wags. It takes months and months to build muscle and weeks to lose it. So with that being said, the first 6 or 7 years I was in the gym off and on, a lot of it was frustrations from hitting those plateaus where I'd see some gains and then everything would just stop. And then I would do all this shit that people would tell me, do drop sets, change your routines, change your weights, all that kind of stuff. I did all that shit. The problem is that I expected to see some results within 48 hours. It doesn't work like that. And so I'd probably say after about 7 years of working out, I quit. And I was out of the gym for about 10 years. And then true, that comes down to the diet. And so I probably say, I can't really get into detail about it. All I can tell you is a situation happened to me about 6, 7 years ago that enraged me. Somebody did something to me that had me absolutely furious. My first reaction was that I wanted to kill them, but I decided no, I'm not going to kill them. I said, I'm going to take this anger and I'm going to channel it and I'm going to take it to the gym. I'm going to get in the gym and I'm going to bust my ass and I'm going to work out like never before. And so when I went back into the gym, I also made the decision that I wasn't going to drink anymore. So I haven't had a drink in almost 6 years. Um, I never was a smoker. Last time I smoked weed or something like that was about 30 years ago. And even when I did smoke it back then, I wasn't, I didn't even do it that much. So even to this very day, that situation that happened to me 6 years ago that really infuriated me still drives me to this day. In fact, when if I'm at the gym and I'm bullshitting and I'm slacking and stuff like that, I actually need somebody to piss me off so I can take that anger to the gym. Because when I'm mad, I work out harder and I'm stronger. So, hey, curious, Silver Sky, what you, how tall are you? How much you weigh? What you bench? All that shit. Not imagine, and I can see Jay Wags. You're not a little dude either. So, um, curious with you too, man. How, height, weight, all that stuff. Anger is a huge motivator. Um, impatient, and you have to, Daniel, you got to use that anger and make something positive of it. Um, that anger helped me to set records in the gym. It helped me to go places that I never thought was possible. In terms of some of the personal records that I set in the gym, I deadlift 405 pounds. I benched 305 pounds on the decline bench. I benched 295 on the flat bench, and I benched 275 twice on the incline bench. So Silver Sky, you 6 foot, 200 pounds. So I'd imagine, damn, you was strong as hell back when you was 220 pounds. You hit 405 on the bench. You was strong as hell. I mean, that's the kind of weight that, like the dudes at our gym, I hate to say it, the dudes at our gym, when they, some of them dudes that push that much, I guess it depends, how big they are. Because we got dudes at our gym that bench, they deadlift almost 700 pounds, and I've seen the rashes on the back of their shoulders, and you know what that is a sign of. So I probably say, that again, Silver Sky, I'm 5'9", 205 pounds right now. The lowest that I've been was 198 pounds when I went on a diet, and the heaviest I've been is 225. And like I said, I said what my personal bests were. The high school kids at my training facility are unreal with their numbers. I believe it. I think the most that I've seen somebody bench at our gym, we had a guy that benched 600 pounds. And so, I mean, there's only a handful of guys that can bench 400 pounds or more at our gym. So for you to be 220 pounds and benching 405, that is very impressive. Thank you, Silver Sky. I said it before, I've lost a little bit of size, and that picture right there that you're looking at right now, that picture was taken probably about 10 months ago. I think at the time that I took that picture, I was 215 pounds or something. And so I lost 10 pounds. I'm a little bit smaller. I have not been eating any carbs because because of this diet that I was on, I was only eating chicken breasts and salads. So you know how that goes. When you're on low carbs, you lose a lot of strength. So, um, let me see. That's the thing about it. When I go on a diet and lose some size, the first thing that goes is my arms. Um, I think the biggest my arms have probably been about I'd probably say at least 17 and a half. Um, maybe even 17 and three quarters. But right now, my arms are probably about 17 inches, I'm guessing, at the most. But I'll get it back. Um, mm, shit. I mean, there's got to be a ton of there's got to be a ton of videos, Danny, on YouTube, that shows proper lifting techniques. Um, it is a bodybuilders gym. We have a lot of guys in our gym that compete in shows. The owner of our gym is a bodybuilder himself. He is a former Mr. Michigan. He is also the one that put me on my diet when I went from 225 to 198. Um, so I would definitely check that out. But but I'll definitely tell you this, Danny. When you go to the gym, if you're going to work out on the bench, get a spotter. The reason why I say that is because whatever amount of weight you can bench, let's say you can bench it, let's say you can bench 200 pounds uh, 6 times. You want to be able to go for that seventh one because that's what's going to help you get bigger, is going for that rep that you can't do. And that's why you need a spotter, because when you go for that seventh rep, chances are you're going to get stuck and you're going to need that spotter to help you lock it out, So definitely if you're going to be on the bench, definitely get a spotter. And I mean, even if you're doing a burn off set, drop sets or whatever the case may be on a bench, I would still recommend getting uh a spotter. That's Silver Sky, that's how I got bigger, was pushing it. If I could if I could bench 225 um you know 10 times, I was going for that 11th one. And I don't think, see what was happening to me is I would get on the bench and I would bench 225. I'd bench it about 8 times. And then when I get to that ninth rep and I feel it slowing down, I would rack it. I would rack it and wouldn't even go for that 10th one because I didn't want to get stuck. But if I had a spotter with me, I would go for that 10th rep, maybe even an 11th one. And so, since I'm trying, whenever I'm trying to bulk up, I'm trying to go for that rep that I can't get, no matter what the exercise I'm doing. And that's one of the reasons why I hate legs, because, if you're trying to get bigger, you got to push it. Now, I don't know, but that word failure gets thrown around quite a bit. I definitely go to the point of failure. Unless I'm trying to unless I'm trying to get ripped and I'm using lighter weight, I don't my arms will burn before I reach failure. I mean, the burn will be so bad I'll literally be in tears. So, but uh let's get let's get back to gaming. Um oh hell, I'll go ahead and share my screen and talk about this Sony article where they say somebody dropped the ball right here. Sony dropped the ball before E3. With roughly less than a month away from the biggest event in the gaming industry, Sony has decided to treat us all with its E3 conference lineup, which quite frankly isn't much to talk about. Sony has decided to give away most of his hand at E3, with these 4 games getting to the main spotlight. To be honest, it's not that impressive considering we've already seen these titles in action already. The Last of Us Part 2, Spider-Man, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, all are fantastic games, don't get me wrong, but we have already seen them. So let's see here. It goes on to say dropping a release date for The Last of Us 2 would be fantastic, don't get me wrong, but if they are only deep diving into these 4 games and eating up time slots, this could be a big letdown for fans going forward. Sony has also stated you will see big announcement from third-party publishing and other games from indie developers as well, but does that even pique your interest in the slightest? Maybe Sony is playing us all and they have, some bigger tricks up their sleeves, and this was a test to see how fans would react. I don't know. So let's see what else. No new hardware being confirmed out for Sony is a big letdown, as this would have been a fantastic time to counterpunch Microsoft's Xbox One X. No, it wouldn't be a perfect time. The PlayStation Pro is doing just fine. I wouldn't be surprised if the PlayStation Pro is outselling the Xbox One X, even though the X had, much bigger marketing. Yes, I know the PS4 Pro is still around, but does it really compare to the Xbox One X? I would say yes, it does, because Microsoft is not putting out any games, and they are. Um, Everything on the PlayStation Pro looks better than every exclusive that Microsoft has, like it or not. It's a cold hard fact. So anyway, I think I read enough. I'll come back to the chat and see how you guys feel. Next leg day, Silver Sky. Um, if it doesn't put a lot of pressure on my knees, then yeah, I'll do it, because this job that I worked at, that I just got laid off from, I worked this job for 10 years, and it was a furniture company. So I spent, 12 years crawling around on my hands and knees on concrete, crawling up under furniture and shit like that, trying to, assemble the furniture and shit like that. And then, they kind of fucked my knees up. Um, so no, for the most part, I can't even really run anymore. So Daniel, you says, but those 4 are just for the first party. There will be third party like Shenmue, maybe some Final Fantasy VII news, some indies, PSVR games. I hope for a new Move controller with a joystick for the PS VR. I don't think you're going to see that until next year, to tell you the truth, because I watched a video from PSVR Frank this morning, and it turns out a Japanese company is working on an LCD display for VR for Sony, and I guess it's got like 1,000 pixels per inch or some shit like that. And I guess this is better than anything that's out there right now. So when the next generation starts and PlayStation has PSVR 2 or whatever they want to call it, it is definitely, I think it's definitely going to be high fidelity. You're not going to see that blur that you're currently getting out of the current PlayStation VR. So I am elated about that. So I don't think they're going to make any announcements on the next generation PlayStation VR until next year, when they probably announce the PlayStation 5. As far as the controllers go, they are working on a controller. Let me see. They are working on a controller. I guess this controller it's got a thumbstick, and I guess it's pressure sensitive. So let me see if I can find it. And if I can find it, then I'll share the screen and show it to you. Let's see. Uh So let's see if there's a picture of. There we are, right there. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen again, Daniel, and show you this controller that Sony is working on, presumably for the next generation PlayStation VR. So hold on a second. Let me share my screen again. Okay, right there. This is presumably the next controller for the PlayStation 2, the next generation VR. And as you can see, it has a thumbstick, it has triggers, along with a variety of other buttons. So what I understand is right here where my cursor is, those three fingers right there that are gripped around the corner, I guess around the controller, I guess that is pressure sensitive. So it will recognize how hard you squeeze the controller. So I don't think you go off and make a controller like that unless you plan on doing big things with that PlayStation VR. Currently, I only have two problems with the current PlayStation VR. One is that the visuals, the resolution through that headset. Depending on what games you're playing, some of that shit in the background is blurry. Like Drive Club VR, night races are awful on that game. It's like everything except the car is blurry, and you just don't see shit, until it's coming up at the last second. The other problem I have with the PlayStation VR is the current Move controllers because they hold the games back. A lot of these games don't have full range of motion when they implement the Move controllers. You Because teleportation is the method of travel. So instead of using your thumbstick to make a right turn, you basically point and click and do a right turn. And sometimes quick that quick and sudden turn, it kind of fucks me up and throws me off, and sometimes it causes me to get motion sick. So I always got to have the ginger ale on hand whenever I get ready to play certain games on the VR. Hmm. You said Silver Sky. There's another version of that. Um, Whatever it is, but I'm almost certain that whatever the next VR is, they're definitely gonna have some controllers to go with it because I don't think they're gonna keep using these current Move controllers. So, um, Daniel, you said you think they will carry over the first VR, and have the next generation VR too? That is a that is a that is a good question, Daniel, because first of all, we all, it's rumored that the PS5, the PSVR technology is going to be baked into the console. And not only that, with rumors going around that the console is going to have anywhere from, 10 to 20 teraflops. If somebody, if developers are able to utilize all that power for VR, I think they might not be able to. I don't know if they'd be able to port something like that back down to the PS4 Pro. So myself, I would like these current games. I don't know. Maybe the current games on the current PSVR, maybe they'll be upscaled or something like some shit like that. When the PS5 comes out, who knows? Um, But I am planning on when the PS5 comes out, I am planning on keeping my PlayStation Pro because I am guessing that, Sony, I don't know if they're going to have backwards compatibility. Truth be told, I really don't care because I'm still a firm believer that if you wanted to play the previous generation games, then you just keep that console. So to me, backwards compatibility is something that Microsoft could have kept. I could give two shits less about that. Um, I wouldn't spend $500 on a console just so I can go back and play 360 games. If I'm paying $500 for a console, I want to see games that look like they belong on a $500 console. You know, hey, remasters, hey, Silver Sky remasters would even be cool. I just don't want the same old, PS2 looking shit, with them pulling out the paintbrush and putting whatever textures and shit like that on it, because the game is still going to move the same, it's still going to play the same. And after about 5 minutes of seeing this shit in 4K, you're pretty much going to switch over to a new game. Now, don't get me wrong. I was like, at first I was excited, when I heard about the Shenmue remasters, and I was definitely planning on buying them. But truth be told, I cannot say if I'll actually play them. They might be something for a collection. You think a fresh start with a next gen PSVR would be good. So the old PSVR won't hold things back. That is what I'm hoping for, Daniel. But at the same time, it's a small market and basically starting fresh wouldn't make sense. You know what, Daniel? I kind of think it would make sense because I don't think Sony has high expectations for the VR. Because I think if they did, we'll find out when the PS5 comes out. But I think if they have high expectations for the VR, or if they like try to shove it down everybody's throat, then they'll try that same shit that Microsoft did when they tried to force everybody to take the Kinect, which I think would be suicide if they were to do something like that. Because I'm willing to bet you that the PS5, I'm guessing it's going to cost anywhere between $400 and $600, and the next generation PSVR, I am guessing that that's going to cost somewhere between $300 and $500. So, so with that being said, I think a fresh start would be good. Um, Mark Jacks, I've got a couple of guests coming up. Friday, what's going on, Mark? Friday, at 6:30, Jay Wags is going to be my guest on the Lincoln Show, and then Saturday, at 1 p.m., I'm doing a special edition of the Lincoln Show, and my guest is going to be Porter Rock 77. He lives in Germany. He's in the military. He lives in Germany, so. So that's the time that we could work out because I guess he's 6 hours ahead of me. So, so that's the time that we got worked out. But two huge guests coming up, Jay Wags and Porter Rock 77. Don't miss either of those because it's going to be lit, as they say. And so, but as I said before with Jay Wags, most of the questions are probably going to be related to Inside Xbox, which I guess comes on airs tomorrow. So, you said you hope Shenmue 3 will import the saves from the HD collection. Man, that would be cool if it did, but it wouldn't be something that would be mandatory to me because I played both Shenmue 1 and 2. I played the games all the way through, and the stories of both games are still fresh in my mind. So, Shenmue 3, I could pick right up where Shenmue 2 left off. So, so yeah, saves would be cool, but it wouldn't be mandatory for me. So, so yeah, Mark Jacks, there you have it. Those are my guests, Friday and Saturday. So don't you dare miss it. So let me go back to N4G and see what else we got. See if there's anything else worth talking about. Hmm. Well, it's official. The next Battlefield game will be revealed on May 23rd. It will be called Battlefield 5. So, as much as I do not like EA, that is still going to be it is more than likely going to be a day one purchase for me. And let me see here. Here's another headline. PlayStation Vita was already dead, cannot die. It's kind of hard for me to argue that with that one because I bought a PlayStation Vita, and I'm not gonna lie, I was seriously misled when I bought my PlayStation Vita. I made a huge mistake, Daniel. I had the Black Dreamcast, the Sports Edition one, that came with NFL 2K and NBA 2K, and so fast forward to when the Xbox 360 came along. Um, that launched in November of 2005. Um, my son was born in May of 2006. So I'd probably say fast forward to about 2009. Um, by that time, my son started alert to everything that was going on around him. And so whenever he would see me playing video games on my 360, he would want to try to come up to me and try to take the controller. And if I didn't give him the controller, he would throw a hairy fit and start screaming all over the place. Um, so so I gave him my Dreamcast to play, and not a smart move to give a 3-4 year old kid a console. So he pretty much destroyed it, and I ended up throwing it away. And from there, every time he tried to come and take my controller, I would just take the other controller, take the batteries out of it, and give him that controller, and let him think that he was playing the game with me. So, I'm still kicking myself to this day that I let that Dreamcast get destroyed. One of these days I'll go on eBay, or as much as I don't like GameStop, I'll go back and get one from one of those guys. And when I do, Shenmue is definitely one of the games that I want to pick up again. Maybe Quake 3, because that was another game I loved on the Dreamcast. There was another game called Alien Front Online, which is basically, that was the first game that I ever played that had some sort of voice chat. It was a 4-on-4 aliens versus the U.S. Army, and in that game, you remember that little VMU unit that was in the Dreamcast controller? Well, Alien Front Online had its own cartridge that you would stick into the controller, and out of that cartridge, a microphone would stick out of that cartridge. And when you wanted to communicate to your teammates, you pressed a button and you would record like a 3-second message. And when you release the button, the message would play back through your teammates' TV screens. And that's how, you would communicate with your teammates. So Sega was way ahead of the curve. The Sega Dreamcast was way ahead of its time. JP Loco, most Xbox One games are basically indies anyway, because they certainly ain't AA or AAA. And what you just getting here, I'll go back to, no, I don't remember Power Stone on the Dreamcast. Eric, I'm sorry. J Loco, going back to what what you walked in here, the title of my topic, I was saying that right now, you've got Microsoft classifying indie games like Sea of Thieves as a AAA game. So I think what Microsoft could conceivably pull this E3 is show more games like Sea of Thieves, show more games like Super Lucky's Tale, and try to pass those games off as AAA games. And then when they show you the trailers of Gears 5 or the next Halo or the next Forza, they'll try to pass those games off as quadruple A games. And with that being said, I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if they, since Microsoft making up a new term, quadruple A, they might think that they need to charge games accordingly. So I wouldn't be surprised when the next generation starts if Microsoft tries to pull some shit and jack prices up to $65-$70 for games. So I mean, both Microsoft and Sony is sneaky, but I swear to God, Microsoft, it's like every third word to come out of their mouth is a fucking lie. And Microsoft reminds me of that chick. When I catch her in a lie, she'll tell another lie to get out of the first lie that she told. And so now it just gets to the point whenever Microsoft releases statements about engagements and amount of hours, played on Xbox Live and shit like that, I just roll my eyes, because it's like this shit never ends with them. Creating all these, all these fake ass stats, this to make it look like they winning something. So let me see, go back to N4G, see if there's anything else there. Oh, I know what I was going to say before I got off track. When I was talking about the PlayStation Vita, what's already dead cannot die. Now, that is one area where Sony definitely misled me. Daniel Marson, not going to lie, I had a boot disc for some games on the Dreamcast. That damn, reindeer menu. Still have a couple of Dead 2, Shenmue. Oh, you still have House of Dead 2, Shenmue, Choo Choo Rocket, couple of Sonics, Fantasy Star. Yeah, like I had a Sega Saturn too, and I mean when I had a Sega Saturn, Daytona 500 and Virtual Fighter was basically the only games that I played on there. I could, because those games was like crack cocaine to me. So, yeah, let me see if she's live or not. Just got an alert from Titanfall Princess. I don't know if she's live or not. Yeah. That's why I just made that one comment to that asshole and just left it alone because she is live. So I don't know. Maybe I'll wrap this up soon and go join her. So real quick about the situation with the PlayStation Vita, how I felt like how I got taken for a ride. Not the current PlayStation Vita that's out right now. I think the previous PlayStation Vita that was out. Sony attempted something that I thought was, was very creative. They where you could, like, for instance, maybe a game like Madden or something like that. You could play. I could play Madden on my Vita online against somebody who was at their PS4 console, but that shit was horrible. It just didn't work. There was so much lag and so many drop games. It was like I couldn't believe they actually tried to run that shit out. I'm like, man, did they even test this shit before they even try to put it out there? So the last PlayStation Vita that I bought, the one that I currently have now, I bought it and I bought MLB The Show, and I think it was MLB The Show 16, I believe. I'm not sure. It might have even been. Yeah, it might even been MLB The Show 15. It was 15 or 16. So anyway, I bought the Vita, and I bought it with that game. The first area where they fucked me over was I went and bought MLB The Show. I get home and I open the case, and it is a code in there. It is not the actual cartridge in there. So that was fuck over number one. And so I download the game to my Vita, which took up a lot of space. And then when I bought that Vita, it also came with Borderlands. And I think that Vita had like 8 gigs of memory, internal memory, and I think Borderlands took up 5 of it. So there wasn't much room for other games. So I was trying to make it a point to always buy the games on the cartridge, but you didn't know what you were getting until you opened the fucking case. So every shit was a crapshoot unless I did some serious research on it first. So anyway, so now I downloaded MLB The Show onto the Vita. So now I'm thinking that you can still play MLB The Show online from your Vita against people that are on a PlayStation 4. Turns out that's not the case. You cannot play that game online whatsoever. And so the only online interaction that MLB The Show had was that you could go, like, whatever that day's schedule was, you could go online and see what the MLB schedule was that day, and then like play those games to like kind of simulate the schedule. But other than that, no, there was no online multiplayer, none of that shit. So yeah, I kind of got fucked over on the Vita. And then, not to mention that, I'm not gonna lie, my eyes aren't as sharp as they used to. Like, my smartphone, my Vitas and shit like that. I have to keep I almost have a pair of reading glasses with me just about everywhere I go. I mean, if you saw my video where I was that drone video where my son and I were flying a drone and taking video from it, if you look at the beginning of that video, you see a pair of reading glasses hanging out of my mouth. So that's not exactly a fun experience, having to carry some safe reading glasses everywhere I go to be able to play that PlayStation Vita. So because of that, I didn't even play it anymore. I tried to sell it. I couldn't get any takers. So now the shit is just sitting in my drawer dead because I haven't used it in about 10 months. and the shit's still damn near brand new because it's got minimal wear and tear. I barely used it. Um, Persona 4 Golden was awesome. Huh. Well, maybe I'll look into it. I was gonna buy, I think they had like a God of War game for the PlayStation Vita, and I think it was only $8, so I was gonna look into getting that, but I totally forgot. The shit don't have no damn memory, and the memory cards for the PlayStation Vita are extremely expensive, and to me that was something that really pissed me off with Sony during the end of the first generation and the beginning of the PS2 generation. I felt like that was Sony's hitch that they were pulling. Um, it seemed like a lot of these games, because the PlayStation 2 didn't like really have I don't think it had a hard drive, and I think you had to use I know the first PlayStation didn't have a hard drive, so you use these memory cards and they only got like 12 blocks. So if you played a game like Metal Gear Solid that had like 2 or 3 discs and shit like that, you needed like 3 or 4 memory cards for all your saves. And it was towards the end of the generation where people started making these aftermarket memory cards that had like 50 blocks, 100 blocks, and shit like that. So that pissed me off, knowing that technology was there all the time, and Sony was selling these, teaspoon sized memory cards to try to bleed people to death. So that really pissed me off with Sony. So make no mistake about it, I've had my moments where I was pissed off with Sony too. So I mean, yeah, they still do shit now. They just not as egregious as Microsoft. I mean, some of the shit Microsoft does is just mind boggling. The Vita had the first 2 God of War games for the PS2. J Loco. See, now Daniel, here's the thing about this remote play on my Vita. That only works inside my home, if I'm not mistaken. I can't be somewhere now. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I definitely need to know this. Now, I can't be somewhere like, say, I can't be on the other side of town and try to remote play my Vita from my PS4. Uh, is that the case? Because if you telling me I can be on the other side of town somewhere and I can play remote play on my Vita from games that are in my PlayStation Pro or something like that, then hell yeah, I'll blow the dust off that Vita. So that's definitely something I want to know about. Titanfall Princess sent a leak, so I will join her soon. So when I get done with this podcast, make sure you guys follow me over there. Okay, so wait a minute, Eric, aren't we friends on the PlayStation? Are we not? Okay. Definitely get with me on the PlayStation, Eric, so you can take me through this. So Daniel, here's an example. Um let's say I go to my brother's house and he's got pretty good internet. Would I be able to use my Vita, to remote play from my PS4 even though it's at home? And he's got a pretty good internet too. If I can do that, then yes, yes, I will still keep my PlayStation Vita and I will get a lot of use out of it. That was re-image repair. Out of here with that shit. Oh, that's crazy. You did remote play with your PSP and PS3? Your PS3 was in the UK and you was in Turkey? Okay. And you can still do that with the current Vita and the PS4. Shit. Shit. You just breathed new life into my PlayStation Vita. USB2, hold on. What the hell? Give me a second, people. Come on, open up. Yeah, the device is working properly. Now let me go in there. Put the mouse. Okay. All right. Let me get back to you guys on the chat. All PS4 games support remote play. Daniel, cool. You see, Eric, you said you were at Starbucks and your PlayStation was on and hooked up Persona 5 and was playing it at Starbucks. Ah, great. You can get an app and do remote play on your phone too. No shit. What app would that be? Like I said, my Vita has minimal wear and tear on it. It's damn near brand new, even though I've had it for a couple of years. Messages. Okay. 7 tweets. Okay. So, let me see. It's almost 5:30 here Eastern. So I am going to go ahead and shut this down. Thanks everybody for watching. As I've said, if you are subscribed to the Titanfall Princess, head on over that way to her live stream. I'll go over there and join her for about an hour or so, as I've got a lot of stuff to do. So I want to go ahead and jump over there now. And thanks everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Silver Sky, I'll talk to you later. J Loco, Daniel, Eric, I appreciate everybody coming into the chat. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, J Loco, I didn't plan on being on that long. But I'm gonna head over. If you're subscribed to Titanfall Princess, head on over that way. She's got a live stream going on right now, and I'm gonna go join her for a little bit over there. But if you don't happen to make it over there, make sure you check me out Saturday at 6:30 p.m. As I said before, Jay Wags will be my guest on the Lincoln Show, and make sure you tune in Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Well, my guest will be Porter Rock 77. Yes, you heard me right. Porter Rock 77. So that's going to be huge. Both of them are going to be huge, Jay Wags and Porter Rock. And I absolutely love Jay Wags with the Reds. So having him on Friday is the perfect time because it'll be the day after Inside Xbox. So that will be the perfect time to have him on the show. So make sure you check those out. Give me a like. I appreciate it. Any comments anybody might leave afterwards, I'll definitely respond to them. If you happen to catch this on the replay, give me a like and make sure you lock the door on your way out. And this is your boy Lincoln Clay. Thanks for watching. And I will talk to y'all later. I am out.